What's up, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Paradise Boutique by Catalina. Catalina is a good friend of mine. She makes earrings, necklaces, bracelets, anklets, any kind of jewelry. It's a perfect gift for one of your loved ones. So check her out on Instagram at paradiseboutique.shop. This episode of the podcast is also sponsored by Well Pepper. Well Pepper is a video production agency. If you're trying to grow your small business yourself or an idea that you have, hit them up. They film amazing videos for me and others as well. So follow them on Instagram at Will Pepper. What's up, everybody? Podcast 44 here, and I'm with my good friend and UFC lightweight Christos Giagos. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man.
Good to have you again.
Thanks for having me.
We've come a long way. Christos was my 8th podcast, and now I'm on podcast 44.
44.
Yeah, bro. So it's been a little while.
The
but,
scenery's a little different.
Yeah, it's definitely a little different. Man, we have a lot to talk about.
All right.
Yeah,
well.
most definitely. So, UFC lightweight, right? So, MMA fighter. And so let's talk a little bit about your upbringing and how that all started. So, yeah. So how did you get into? How did you end up
so, here? Man, it was a little bit of a wild way how I got into it. I played sports my whole life: football, basketball, a little bit of everything, and I ended up switching schools. And my mom forced me to go to Redondo and played football there. I was didn't really fit in. I went from a ghetto school, hood.
Yeah.
I went to Redondo, and
But you fit right in, like physically.
I mean, but no, I was a little hood, and everyone's all like
I
tight
get it.
jeans and everything, and it was a little bit different.
What year was this? If I can ask,
2007.
Oh yeah, that's like
2007.
That's like baggy jeans. Tight.
Yeah. So
long tees.
I go, and then my senior year, I'm on the football team, and it was taking up my whole summer. I finally got my wardrobe change. I got the skinny jeans. I'm feeling myself.
Yeah, Redondo Beach, baby.
I don't want to play football, so I end up joining the wrestling team. And that's where, but I didn't want to wrestle. I just needed a 6th period. So I didn't even want to wrestle. I just had friends that wrestled, and I was like, all right, I'll wrestle. I'm not going to summer camp. I ditched all of football so I can, go party and have fun. I had to switch my 6th period eventually, and I switched it to wrestling instead of football. And I started wrestling.
Were you like the popular kid in high school?
I
feel like you had a lot of friends.
I got pretty up there.
Yeah.
Not my junior year because I was the new kid, and then when I started wrestling, I started doing really well. I just picked it up. I made varsity within a couple months. I mean, not even months. Like my first tournament, I did a JV tournament outside of league, and I got first place. And I knew 1 move, 2 moves, and I was just very athletic. And I ended up ending the year doing really, really well. I kind of slacked off towards the end, during CIF. I competed in CIF, and then I kind of started partying and not going to practice, and then I was kind of over it. But I ended up, me and some buddies, wrestling buddies, we were watching a UFC event one day, and it was like, who was it? Chuck Liddell versus Vanderlei Silva. And it seemed like it was just like a street fight, kind of, this is like a street fight, and we're wrestling, and we should do this. I see a little bit of wrestling when BJ Penn fought Sean Shirk. Yeah. So I'm like, I didn't know what Jiu Jitsu was, but we had a fight night. We had a key to the wrestling room.
Oh no.
And we had a fight night, me and some friends.
Boxing gloves, street?
No, MMA gloves. We bought UFC gloves at Big Five.
Got it.
And we snuck in 1 in the morning. We got
Holy
6
shit.
guys that were down.
Who gave you guys a key to the weight room? The coach? The wrestling room.
One of the guys, one of the health guys, gave it to my friend Victor.
Okay, cool.
To give it back to to the school or something.
Oh, okay.
And he never did. And they just said it went up missing, but we had the key.
Oh, nice.
And and then so we had a fight night.
Okay.
And we had 2 fights go on, but the only people left were me and this guy Robert.
You guys did a tournament?
No, just everybody had 1 fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't winner. Okay, got you.
No. And it was pretty cool. Then nobody wanted to fight Robert. He's 265 pounds, and I didn't really have anybody there to fight me. So we fought each other. He had 100 pounds on me. And I know he's trying to take me down. He wrestled too. He did pretty well too, his wrestling. So I was like, damn, he cannot take me down right now. If he takes me down, there's going to be some trouble. So I tried my best to stay on my feet, and I ended up knocking him out.
Oh, kicks were open and everything?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it was like MMA fight.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I felt kind of good. I started watching The Ultimate Fighter. I was like, man, I can try out for this show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is with the season 15 when UK versus USA with Dan Henderson and Michael Bisping when he gave him that big KO. But anyway, I'm watching that Ultimate Fighter, and I end up wanting to try it out for it. So I go to a gym. I'm like, hey, I want to fight. And I was one of those guys, and they told me, you got to do some stuff, this and that. And I signed up for classes. Took my first day. I was rolling, no gi jiu-jitsu, and I was taking this kid down, and I thought I was winning, and he put me in a triangle. He choked me out, and since that day, I fell in love, and I just kept training, ended up fighting. And yeah, I kind of just sparked from there.
Isn't that funny how, like, when you start training and you're fighting, like, there's two people, right, who, like, when they get choked out or knocked out or, like, fucked up in sparring, right? It's number one, it's like, oh, I love this. I'm obsessed with it. Like, this is a whole world that I want to explore. And number two, like, nah, this ain't for me. Right? It's so funny how, like, two, because, like, I remember, like, my first day, like, stepping on a mat, right? Like, I got dropped with a body shot.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah. And the first thing that I thought was like, man, this isn't for me, man. Right?
Really?
That was the first
one
thing.
Of those guys.
No. So I was for like a day. And then I'm like, nah, like there's like it was unsettling to me knowing that there's people out there that could kill me like with ease.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
It's like and these guys were so what other thing that was cool was, you know, I played football in my life as well. So there was a lot of egos involved, like a lot of it's a very bro-y sport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a very bro-y, jockey kind of thing.
Slap each other in the
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Get physical.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I noticed like fighters and MMA guys are very like composed, like held themselves very like kind of like they're humble in a sense because you know, every fighter knows that there's someone out there that could fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? So in general,
except me.
In the beginning. But yeah, no, you're right. In the general, so I think that's what I kind of gravitated towards that, and that's where I met my best friend Ryan. He's actually one of the owners of the gym that I. Okay. So it's funny, like there's two routes, and you were kind of like automatically in that route, like the triangle chokes type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But what's weird is that like wrestling is a sport that like you kind of like people don't really like just get into wrestling and like be good at it.
Yeah, dude.
That's
actually there's a crazy
you,
story real quick. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But first day of practice, we go to takedowns, and they put all the new kids in a section. And I mean, I'm pretty athletic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I would say I'm.
What position do you play in football?
Strong safety.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and a little bit of cornerback.
Okay, cool.
But so in my head, they're doing takedowns. You know, in my head, football tackles.
Yeah.
We're going to this kid first match. I just go take him up in the air.
Yeah.
He tried to post, and I snapped his wrist all the way up to his elbow, and he had to get like metal screws, and everyone's like, "Oh, why'd you do that? He's new." And I'm like, "I'm new too." Like, what the heck? So I had no idea, and I just understood.
You're just aggressive,
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about football guys, right, who get into MMA, is that they're very like aggressive in a sense of, you know, there's people who fight like coming forward, and there's people who fight coming backwards or like in the pocket. I know football guys are kind of like in the pocket, like trying to get in there, right? Which is kind of like how you are. At least when we spar, like
well,
very
when I started, I was very like that. I'm learning to try to.
I mean, we could talk about like this next fight and stuff like that, but like in the your last fight, but in general, like I just notice for people, they're very like. Aggression comes naturally to them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that helps definitely in the fight game. Most definitely. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But then once you get to certain levels, that's when you have to realize, oh, I got to be composed. I got to be, you know, if I'm too, you know, aggressive here, like, you know, closing the distance, you know, that could lead to openings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Learning how to control the adrenaline and the adrenaline.
That's
the hardest part. I think
sure.
in fighting is learning to control the adrenaline, being composed, being calm, and like you're in a war and you have to learn how to keep your heart rate low, and it's a very tough thing to do, and I'm still working on it 25 professional fights later. So
that's crazy. So you get into this gym, right, and you like start doing jiu-jitsu, and what specific, like when you showed up day by day, like, and in the very big, I feel like I don't know how long it took you, but like a lot of people, there's like a period of like getting tapped out, losing, failing. Like essentially, like there's probably days where you're just like, damn, like you fail every round or you lose every round, and then there's this concept that's like, all right, lose a little less every time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, how long was that for you? Like, was it like a few months? Was it a year where you realized, like, oh shit, like I could actually do this? Like,
To be honest, I mean, there's definitely times I got my like butt whipped.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, like in the beginning, but yeah, I was taking beginner classes because I was a beginner and I had a wrestling background, so I always fairly did pretty well.
Yeah.
My first jiu-jitsu tournament, I got first place.
Oh, okay.
3 months of training, and yeah, so I just kind of understood it, but when I actually used to shy away from like the blue belts and the purple belts in the beginning because they're hard, you know.
Yeah.
And I like, you know, it was tough. But then I started to realize I want to go with them more. So there was, you know, a good period. Then I started challenging myself, going with like purple belts, brown belts a lot, and then I was getting my butt whipped a lot. That lasted like at least 2-3 years for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's a while. What's crazy is that like you get to a point where you'd rather go with the advanced guys than the newer guys. So because I feel like with the newer guys, they're very aggressive and don't really know what they're doing. They're not really controlled. So you can like, there's risk of injury. There's risk of like people going crazy and wild, like just trying to, you know, fuck you up. Whereas I feel like or high level purple belts, and there's obviously, you know, there's different belts at different places. A purple belt here could be different than a purple belt here. But in general, like purple belt, brown belt, black belt, that's when guys are very calm and like know what they're doing. They're not like trying to like kill you or strangle you. Yeah. And like I'm at the point where I'd rather go with them and lose, but at least I'd lose gracefully and not get hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes and no. Beginners are kind of good fun to go with because you can try new moves out.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
And plus, I don't go like super crazy. I just like to try new things.
For sure.
And then I start trying them on like the purple, brown belts and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. At what point were you thinking like, okay, now is my time to like step in the cage? Like what things had to go down before you got into that point? Was it quick? It's quick. When'd you step in the cage?
2019, I started training. And like at the gym when I joined, and 3 months later,
2019.
3 months later, I did a jiu-jitsu tournament. I won. 3 months after that, I did a jiu-jitsu and pancration tournament, and I've barely been striking like probably like 6 months, you know. Yeah. And the pancration is like MMA fight, but no face shots, all body. You can knee, do everything. Yeah. And I got first place in that.
Okay. This is in 2019 though.
This is 2019. Yeah, same year I started training.
No,
bro, it's 2009. My apologies. 2009. 2009. My fault.
You're good.
2009. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that was last year, bro.
My bad. I won the pancration tournament, so then I started.
Doesn't like Boss Rutan do those a lot?
I don't know. It was like one grappling quest thing.
Okay, cool, nice.
Then I left the gym I was at, and I went to a striking gym because I wanted to work on my striking. I did that for 3 months, and then with that place, They had smokers. They showed me the route of fighting a smoker, which is an unsanctioned kickboxing fight. Yeah. And my first fight with them, it was a kickboxing fight, and I just remember going in there and seeing red, and I didn't stop punching. It was 3 2-minute rounds, and I was just throwing like 20 hit combos, and just I'm gassing, but I'm like, if I stop hitting this guy, he's gonna hit me, you know. That's how I thought about it. I'm 19 years old, and like I'm like, this guy's like 30, and I'm just don't stop punching him, and I'm just cracking the crap out of him. And he's like, looked like a Muay Thai guy. He had some like definitely way better skills than me. I was just brawling out there. Yeah. And I'll throw a kick here and there, but and then like after that, I took the trophy and I went back to the first gym, and I was like, this is where you guys, this is where I like started. So I wanna fight with you guys. So I joined there. They just started a fight team finally. Cause that's why I left too. I wanted to fight. And then we started like getting a little fight team, and I did another MMA smoker with them. Okay. And
why is it hard to get like a sanctioned fight? Do you have to do smokers before you?
Well, at that time, Camo wasn't around yet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 20 now, and this is like maybe April, and I do the smoker MMA smoker, and I freaking just demolished this kid pretty bad.
In the smoker.
Yeah. So.
And do you weigh in for those?
Yeah, we had like a little weigh in.
Okay, gotcha.
Brian Ortega fought in that smoker with me, actually. That's where, that's
cool.
where I first met him.
Yeah.
And so then,
But you guys fought in another organization after that together, correct? Or was this that?
Yeah. No, we fought a couple times together. We
RFA,
fought,
yeah.
RFA. No, we fought Respecting the Cage together, and then the UFC together too.
Oh yeah, okay.
But
cool.
anyway, we what was on the story?
You were talking about how you fucked this kid up.
Oh yeah. So it's April in 2010 now. I'm 20, and then they say, hey, you want to do a professional fight? And they had a connection because one of the guys at the gym fought for them, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And I fought, I won.
Nice.
And it was awesome. And then next thing you know, Cambo comes out. And then all these guys are getting amateur fights, but I'm just doing pro fights. 4 fights in. My fourth fight, I won the title on my third fight. My fourth fight, I fight Joe Camacho.
Yeah, we talked
freaking
about
30. I mean, he was like training before I was even born. You know what I mean? And
that's what's one thing I want to talk about. You've literally fought some veterans, dude.
Yeah,
you fought some badass dudes.
Yeah. I've been.
How was that fight?
I won. He was a black belt in Jiu Jitsu. I've only been training a year, and he has like 30 fights. I mean, he was in crap record, like 15 and like 14 or something like that. But, I beat him.
Yeah. Let me ask you. At what point? All right, I'm a black belt in this. I'm a black belt in this. I'm a black belt in this. Right.
Yeah.
And I see this a lot in fighting in MMA. Like, okay, this guy has like 7 black belts, but he seems to be, or she seems to be, they can't put it together like in the cage. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like, for example, like you just said, it's like, oh, I've only been training a year, but this guy's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, you would think like he would just try to take you down, tap you out, but you won that fight. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I was taking him down.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was pretty crazy, but I was very blessed to be.
It's like comfortability in the cage, right?
Yes.
Well, because this is you're the perfect person to ask this because you fight on the biggest stage of them all. So it's like there's, Connor just talked about this in his last fight. It was like, okay, there's nothing beats time in the cage, right? Like fighting in the cage. You could win every round in the gym, but like in the cage, it's something different, right?
It's very different.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Is it adrenaline? Is it the fact that you're sparring or fighting someone that you don't know? Is it because they're unpredictable, or is it just like an accumulation of all those things? Like,
it's like everything of that plus more. You got the lights, you got the fans, you got everything.
Yeah.
It's you're on the spotlight. It's like when people put you on the spot in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You don't feel good.
No. Yeah.
Well, imagine trying to go to a war with one of those guys.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Fight to the death nearly. So it's you ever been in high school?
Yeah.
And you're gonna fight some kid after school, and you're looking at the clock, and you're like shaking your leg.
Yeah, you're like,
oh, I gotta fight after school. Your heart's racing. It's like it's kind of like that, but like in a way more professional way.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So it's fun, and it's cool to see where you can take your mind.
Yeah, that's I want to get into that. So, Dominic Cruz says fighting is 90% mental, 10% physical.
Absolutely.
Right, and he says, you being in the UFC, you're at a place where you're in the top 1% of fighters. You know what I'm saying? I think it's 1% you're in the top.
Is less than 1%.
It's probably less than 1% of fighters in the world. Yeah, exactly. Right. So mentally, right? It's like the preparation for that, the weight cut, the training, everything. Do you do any like specific things to like get your mind sharp? Is there anything specifically like, I know there's obviously rounds in the gym, like things to keep you sharp, but is there anything mentally, like, do you meditate? No,
I don't meditate, but I do things to strengthen my mind.
Like, what do you do?
Just try to set a lot of goals first and like accomplish those goals.
Okay, cool.
And then like certain diets, this, that, not staying out late. Those are like the small minor ones. And then you got like, all right, let's try to go for some long runs. That's like a meditation in a way, actually.
Okay,
when I go
cool.
for my like 10-mile runs, like you start to tap into some mental blocks you want to get past. And then I jumped and did a marathon after my surgery. I really want to push my mind, so I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And we all went and did a marathon, and that put me to some new levels. And just I like always testing myself in those certain situations to kind of test my mind. And then when I work out and I'm doing rounds, like I start talking to myself like don't show me you're tired, don't show me you're hurt here, this and that. You gotta really just try to stay focused and always just tap into like certain parts to like.
You're like a mental adventurer in a way. It was like, all right, let's see where we go today.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
And you're also on top of that, you're disciplined.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So what's the discipline? Have you always been disciplined?
Yeah,
Is it always something that you're just like, all right, I'm gonna run a marathon. All right, yep, no, my mind's not gonna the way I'm gonna run a marathon. Like,
I think I'm one of those people who don't like excuses. You know, even like when you got valid ones, sometimes I still feel like, like if I give an excuse, and I could like definitely have a hurt knee. Yeah. If I don't go and I bail out on people, I'm like, now I'm gonna be like a little punk, like a little biatch or something. So
yeah.
I always just like a lot of pride has helped me become more mentally tough. But I'm trying to shy away from that now and be a lot smarter.
Yeah,
but
pride
also
and ego.
really, really strong.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's gotten you to a certain place, but now you're in a place where you got to put the ego aside, like because, obviously pride and like confidence and a little bit of arrogance sometimes, like in the fight game, is necessary.
Yeah.
But you being in the top slots, you got to put that aside and be like, okay, I need to actually like be smart here, work smarter, not harder, and maybe stop training with some people that are like egos involved and like trying to knock you out in the gym, stuff like that, like whatever it is. But in general, it's like, so it's almost like you've had to go against like the path that you've gone through, and I feel like that might be a little tough.
I
right?
definitely transitioned to a different type of training methods for sure. I don't go as hard as I used to. I'm only really training with people that I trust. I've had too many injuries. I don't get paid to like go to the gym, so I'll tap out right when I feel it. Like I'm not trying to fight through anything in the gym. It's the ego's out the door, and it actually made me a better martial artist at
for
that,
sure.
So
and like you said last time we trained, you were like, I've already had my wars. Like why do more? Like why put more damage on my body? So makes total sense. So like you're going against like what got you to where you're at, right? So like you said, you've been in this transition. In this transition, like, do you, and obviously, like you said, you've become a better martial artist, but do you feel like you've tapped into certain things there that like have maybe calmed you down, have made you kind of like, it's like this balance of like discipline, go get it, but like chill out, relax?
I think I just matured and maybe understood. Understand a lot more now. I started when I was 20. I had my first professional fight when I was 20. I'm 31 now, so
you've been in it for a while.
For 11 years.
Damn,
11 years. That's crazy.
That's crazy, bro.
But so just maturing and understanding, and obviously doing some research, seeing what other people do, and trying to make the best decisions you can. Yeah.
Was there anything along the way when you realized like, okay, like at what point, everyone, you go through certain things, after high school, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna go this, but like what made you think that like, okay, like I'm gonna not go the conventional route of like college, find a trade, get a job, and be like, no, I'm actually gonna pursue like fighting? Like, did you ever, I guess the first question is like, what made you say, no, I'm not gonna do that? And number two, was there anything that you actually thought like, oh, that'd actually kind of be a cool job that I get into? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Well, in the beginning, I was working for my family's restaurant.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't really have a plan.
Yeah.
But I was training on the side, and then I had my fight, so I started fighting on the side. I was making like $1,000 here, $1,500 here, and I would just save it all, and I just got into saving right away.
You're living at home?
Good. Yeah.
Oh,
no, I had my own.
Okay,
I had my own apartment at 19 actually.
Oh,
no,
okay,
20.
Oh, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah. So, with some roommates.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was like pretty cheap rent. But anyway, I was working at the restaurant, doing that on the side, and obviously the goal was the UFC, but I didn't really like put all my marbles into that.
Yeah.
And I was definitely thinking of other options. So then I just, I was on a high from winning. I won a couple of titles, and it was a lot of fun. I just was going with the flow, and next thing you know, I'm here, and I started transitioning to like teaching martial arts, which I have a passion for. Obviously, I help you out.
Yeah.
I really
Chris is one of my striking coaches, by the way. So.
I really like helping people.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I've learned so much from our sessions, dude. Like that I take into like my like fighting journey and like my coaching and stuff like that. So it's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, but I lost my train of thought.
No, sorry. So like, was there anything specific like you said, you decided that you started winning?
Yeah. I just started winning, and I just kind of enjoyed my journey. I'm a very like unstressful person. I don't stress a lot. I just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
chill.
You
I-
seem
I
like you're
going with the flow and
be in the present moment type
just
thing.
yeah, exactly. I don't like thinking too ahead. But now, as I'm getting older, things
Yeah.
are changing, and
For
now
sure,
I'm
100%.
thinking about I can't fight forever. I'm got some wear and tear in my
Totally.
body, and
100%.
I'm thinking about like trying to get my EMT.
Okay.
Go to EMT school, try to become a firefighter. My brother's a firefighter. My
Sick,
best
dude.
friend's a firefighter. So that, maybe a policeman, who knows? But
Yeah.
just right now, I'm just enjoying the journey.
I love it, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
In regards to, let's talk about your road to the UFC, right? Because now, like, you've made your jumps, you've won your titles, right? But now it's like, okay, now I'm actually in the big league. Now you're actually like, the best of the best. So, what is that process like? Getting management, trying to figure out like connections, like what is the road to the UFC like?
Well, I had a manager.
And obviously back then it was different.
Yeah,
Now it's a
yeah.
little different as well. So
Yeah, well, I had a manager before I even signed.
Okay,
Before I
cool.
wasn't even signed, he's the one that helped me get the title shots and all that. I
Okay,
kind of just
cool.
let him handle everything, and he's pretty much built me up
cool.
to get in there, not once but twice.
Yeah.
But
I want to talk about that as well.
Yeah, but basically, you just gotta win some fights,
So. Mm-hmm.
get talk to some managements, and
Cool.
for me, just let them guide me. You know what I mean? I don't like dealing with that. I just like chilling
For sure.
and let him do all the work, and
For
all I
sure.
gotta do is fight. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I like to do.
One thing that I've seen from you so far in like, the, relationship that we had is that you seem like an extremely resilient fighter, meaning like,
Yeah.
whatever gets thrown your way, it's like, whatever, fuck it. I'll regroup and get back to the same thing. So, there's a point in your journey where you get into the UFC, right? And, have a couple fights, and then, to my knowledge, the Reebok deal happens, and then, they cut a bunch of fighters.
Yeah.
And then it's like, fuck, now I got to regroup, right? But there's one thing that I've seen from you. It's like when you regroup, it's like you come back and it's almost no difference. Like you're still the same Christos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of, like, it's kind of like I see a lot of, like you said, you don't stress a lot. You're kind of in the present moment. So that gives me kind of like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all right, so you get cut from the UFC, and obviously that's a bummer, like, for all fighters, but, like,
I
what
mean,
happens?
I definitely went through some of my own demons, but
Totally get it.
I just had a lot of support from family and friends that kind of
Cool.
helped tell me how much talent I have, how much they believed in me, and
Yeah.
it's so hard trying to let them down. And you
Mhm.
love this, they love the sport so much, so I stuck with it. And then it sucked because when I got cut, I fought Josh Emmett
Yeah.
and
That
ended up
was a
getting
goddamn
TKO'd
move,
in
bro.
the third. And we got fight of the year. It was a dope fight, but this kid's not even in the UFC, and I'm like, and I just lost my first fight out the UFC. And I was
Yeah,
just
so, like, that, it's like, imagine that, right? Where you're like, okay, I get cut from the UFC. I'm like, all right, I get into another fight in another organization, and I lose, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you're at your lowest of, I'm not trying to speak for you, but, like,
Yeah, I
you're
was definitely
borderline
at my
at your
lowest.
lowest of your lows.
I was definitely at my lowest for sure.
But you regroup, and you're back in the UFC now. So,
Yeah.
fuck, like, tell that. Like, what is going through your head? Like, what are you doing? Like,
Well, I was like, I got to do something big, and so I started fighting for RFA. I fought in the Dana White Contender Series. I had a huge knockout with Carter Bradian. Dana White was there. He gave me a little shout out. He's like, well, this kid that used to be in the UFC, but looks like he belongs back in the UFC. But
yeah, I remember
he
that.
didn't end up signing me. So I headlined the show for RFA. I won.
Okay.
Didn't get signed. Okay, well then I go fight for ACB. I fight a kid who's 15-1. Only guy he lost is Rick Glenn, who's in the UFC, and I beat him. And I'm thinking I'm gonna get the call. Nothing. So all right, well let's sign with ACB. I signed with ACB, and then they flew me out to Russia. Fought in Russia. They flew me out to Brazil. Fought in Brazil. After that, earned my spot, and they wanted me to fight Charles Oliveira. They called me on a short notice fight to fight Charles Oliveira.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was your first fight back in the UFC?
When I coming back, yeah. For the second time.
Got it.
First was
Okay,
Gilbert
cool.
Burns,
Yeah.
Jiu Jitsu guy, and
yeah.
then Charles Oliveira, and they both submitted me.
I mean, hey, dude, you've regrouped, and you know what I'm saying? So,
But on the bright side, I made history that night. He submitted me. He got the most submissions in UFC history. So,
yeah.
I'll take that at the W.
Right? So that's actually, I remember I actually met you before your Oliveira fight, right before you left.
Okay, yeah, that's right. At UFC gym.
Yeah, UFC gym. That's where I met you, right? After that, you go to Sweden?
Australia.
Australia,
And I fought
sorry.
Mizuto Hirota, the
Uh-huh.
Japan Rode to Japan,
Yep.
won the winners, and then I beat him. Then I go to Sweden after that,
Mm-hmm.
and I beat Demir. And then I fight Jakar close, which was an all-out war. We almost got fight of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Some people thought I won that fight, but whatever.
I thought you won that
I
fight.
thought he tapped, whatever.
I thought he definitely tapped, bro.
It,
he
but,
goes,
but
boom,
listen, a
boom,
loss is a
boom.
loss.
Like,
Trust me, it ate at me. But you can't do nothing about it. So I can sit and whine like a little punk,
Yeah.
or I can just get back to training and make a statement. And
Mhm.
I had neck surgery. I was fighting for a fight, then I had neck surgery. COVID happened. There was more, stuff just keeps happening. But I just started climbing back up, started doing some mental toughness, long runs, this, that, training really hard, trying to find a fight, finally rebuilding, and then I get an offer for a fight in 3 days' notice. This is what,
a few weeks ago,
about
right?
a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago, right? Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh,
I
shit.
was off for a year and 6 months, or a year and a half. I didn't have a fight.
Yeah. I saw it on your story, and I think you were with Victoria, and you were guys, and I saw something about like took the fight on 3 days, and I'm like, hold up. I was like, bro, are you fighting on this next fight? And you were like, yep. I was like, what? No way.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
100%, right?
Yeah.
What specifically in regards to your weight cut, like what's a weight cut like on 3 days notice?
It's the same.
Yeah.
That one was the same. Good. Thankfully, I don't get too big. I try to keep my weight low. I don't like how I look. I don't like the way I look when I'm heavier. So I make sure I stay low. I stay ready. And I lost 17 pounds in 3 days. It was a little tough, but thankfully they let me go to 160, not 155, and it wasn't that tough. I mean, it was tough. It was like any other weight cut. Just stop eating carbs, sweat, and
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
chill.
Yeah. Like when you tap into these parts of your mind, right, that you like to go to on these long runs and these marathons and in these fights, right? Is that something that you've always done, or is that something that only came from fighting?
No, actually. I mean, when I run, usually it's only like 6 miles at most. The 10K was the most I ever did. And then I started listening to David Goggins.
That's what I wanted to get into that because you always repost this stuff. So it's
yeah. So then I read his book, or listened to his book, and listened to him.
Do you believe his principle of like, when we're like at our worst peak? He says like when we're at our worst, we're only at 40% of where we're at.
I do believe it because
that like freaks me out.
Check this out. I bet you if the ocean was right down there,
I can't swim,
and I lit you on fire, you would jump in that damn water.
You
know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah.
like your body would just go into this adrenaline, and you would be able to give a lot more, for sure.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, like, the people, they lift cars when they have to. You know, when you hear about
Yeah.
stories like that
Yeah.
happen. So I definitely think it's within us to overcome really big obstacles. And when he talked about the callus, like, you callus your mind, I was very fond of that. I was like, wow, you can do that.
Yeah.
So then I was like, that's when I was like, all right, I'll run 10 miles. I ran 10. And we did a half marathon. I was like, all right. And then I had surgery, took some time off, and then I started running 10 again. And then, I ran 6. I started running 3 miles finally for my surgery. We ran 3 miles, and we ran 6 miles, and then we did a marathon. Yeah, and then so I was like, that was a big way. I had to like really talk to some demons a little bit, but
definitely, yeah. That I feel like I remember like just like a little win. Like I remember like when we went on that run last, like when you told me to go on that run with you guys. On Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Most I ever ran was like 2.5 miles.
You ran
right?
6, right?
Yeah. So it was like, oh damn, like okay, like there is definitely more that you can do, but I guess I didn't even like really like. Some people say, you know who Jocko Willing is? Jocko Willing?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is
So
he
he says
the military guy.
Yeah. He says you're only at 20% there. Yeah, instead of 40%. I'm like, whoa, that's insane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you talk about like these calluses on your mind and stuff like that. That's a new concept to you? Would you say?
Yeah, that was new when I listened to it from David Goggins. I didn't even think about that. It made pretty good sense to me. So
Yeah. For sure.
I definitely was very fond of that.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
Once I started listening to him, I started running more.
You're like, fuck it. I'll start running like 26
I
miles.
enjoy running though. It's definitely like therapy for me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
Most
nice.
definitely. Is there any like strides in your game that you feel like, like that one day when you first started training, it was like, oh, jiu-jitsu, like, oh, I definitely need to get into this. Is there anything recently in MMA that you're like, oh, this is something I'm totally new to and I want to change it up. I want to like learn more of this? Because it's a constantly evolving game, right? And there's constantly things that you could work on and keep doing. Is there anything specifically that you're kind of like, oh, damn, like this is new and I want to do this? You don't have to get into specifics. I know you don't want to give too much, but
really, just I definitely started slowing things down and drilling a lot more. And I definitely think that was a missing piece in my game. So I'm doing a lot of drilling now, and yeah, so that's something I definitely think I need help with that I'm getting now. So I just gotta keep at it and stay consistent. That's the most important thing.
This last guy that you fought, I saw that you were very composed and you picked your shots extremely well, and you just like it looked like you were 10 steps ahead of like him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to speak for you or him, but just from what I'm seeing, like I saw like a kind of like a matured like more like composed Christos. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And obviously this guy that you fought, like you fought him on 3 days notice, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like you had that much time to like study him or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I was more composed. I gotta save some energy.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Just trying not to get so excited when I was on top. I was just like, okay, you're here.
Yeah.
Let him hold you, push, let him get tired, wear him out, because he had a full training camp. So that's why I was picking my shots wisely. If I had a full camp, who knows what can happen. But but I like the way I felt, and knowing that I can do that on 3 days notice, it's like, what can I do with a full camp? You know, if I can stay that composed. So
yeah, for sure.
That's definitely something I will hopefully keep doing.
Yeah, 100%. So, you are, debatably in the most stacked division in the UFC, right? Yeah. You got the best of the best guys in there. And top 5 got shaken up recently, right? Has it ever occurred to you like that, like, all right, you keep winning and stuff like that, like that you, like, have you visualized yourself like with these guys in the octagon? Like, do you watch these fights and you're like, okay, like I'm on that stage with them, and like there is like if I keep doing what I'm doing, there is a chance I'm gonna be in there with one of these guys. You know what I'm saying?
I already have been. I fought Charles.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I pieced him up in the first round.
Yeah, 100%.
So I know I can definitely hang with these guys.
100%.
And I do have plans of making. I want. Hopefully this year, this is the year I want to make. I want to break the top 15. Yeah. So if I can fight one more time and win, and then next fight after that, hopefully fight somebody in the top 15.
Yeah,
that'd be good. I'd win. But I'm already 3 of my last 4. If I win 2 more back to back, that'd be 5 out of my last 6. And definitely think I'd earn a spot in the top 15.
Yeah, 100% you would. Yeah, man. Like, it's such a crazy journey that you've been on, right? And to see, like, the more, I don't know, like, the last fight I saw like really a composed and, like, matured version of you. And I feel like if you keep, like, bringing that, like, you could possibly, like, keep, man.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, sky's the limit for you, man. Most definitely. In regards to coaching, right? What do you feel like? I know you said you like helping people, and like you have your own gym, you have your own thing kind of going on. Do you, specifically, like, do you train people for them to like fight? Do you train them to like learn the skills, or do you kind of hone in on whatever they want to do?
No, mostly just they like the fitness part of kickboxing or fitness, and just from the gyms that I taught at, picked up some clients from there. But I do have a little cousin that I train once in a while, and I'm the one that I showed him to the martial art world, and now he's 2-0 at 15 years old. Yeah. And I definitely help him out a lot. So, but yeah, besides him, no. I mean, I help out the guys at some of the gyms I train out. That's about it.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Yeah. I've learned so much in regards to like training with you, like in the sessions that we had, and it's like, damn, like if I were to fight, I would definitely take some of the things that you've told me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But hey, dude, I appreciate you, Christos. And thank you for being on.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. No problem.
I appreciate it. And maybe we do it again someday.
Yeah.
Once I break that top 15.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. Thanks, guys.